Hello, welcome to another video of Code Snippet. So in this video, we are going to look into one of the important pillar of object-oriented programming, that is encapsulation. So there are four important pillars altogether, and we have seen two of them, that is inheritance and polymorphism. In this video, we are going to cover encapsulation, and abstraction is the last one, which we will see in the next video, right? So let's get started without wasting any time. This is going to be a fun video, so sit back, relax and enjoy the show. So let's first go through the agenda of this particular video. So very simple agenda. We are going to look into encapsulation, which is one of the pillar of your OOPS, right? As I already mentioned, I have already covered inheritance and polymorphism in these videos. If you haven't seen them, I will recommend go ahead and check them out to understand this particular video, right? Now, encapsulation is again a very important pillar of OOPS, and there will be a lot of interview questions asked inside the interview. And I have seen people giving rubbish examples when they answer encapsulation inside a Java interview, right? So in order to answer that, you need to understand it clearly, right? So you need to understand the basics first. So we need to first understand what are packages inside Java, what are access modifiers inside Java, what exactly is the use of them, right? How they come into picture when we want to hide the data from the user, right? We want to secure our data from the user. So those things you need to understand first. Encapsulation is basically a concept inside Java, right? In order to understand that, you need to understand basics first. So in this video, we are first going to look into packages. After that, we'll see what are access modifiers. There are four types of them. Once we understand these two, we will smoothly define what is encapsulation and we'll discuss it, right? Alright, so packages inside Java, right? So what exactly are packages? Packages are like folders, right? We have file system inside our computer, right? If you open Explorer or if you open File Manager, you will have different kind of files, right? And those files are segregated inside various folders, right? So we have certain folder structure so that we segregate similar kind of files inside those folders, right? Inside our Explorer or File Manager, right? So in the same way, we can segregate similar kind of classes inside certain folders inside your code, right? So altogether, that folder is called as a package, right? So basically, they are a group of related classes and interfaces to improve the modularity and reusability of the code, right? So that is basically the purpose of creating a package, right? So it's basically a folder which will contain your similar type of classes, right? But your package structures get very important when you start working on a frameworks like Spring or Spring Boot, right? So it's very important to understand basics over here. And there are basically two type of packages that we have, right? First one is built-in packages and second one is user-defined packages, right? Now what are built-in packages? Now unknowingly when we write our Java code, we use multiple classes, right? For example, let's jump to our IntelliJ, right? And let's say I have this person class over here. Let me just open this person class. And let's say I want to get some input from user in this main class, right? So here I have a main class and I want to take some input from user, right? So we know that we use something called a scanner in order to take input, right? So from where we can get scanner? So if I write scanner over here, so if you see IntelliJ is suggesting me that, okay, dude, there is this scanner, right? And where is this scanner coming from, right? Where is this scanner coming from? This scanner is coming from java.util package, right? So java.util is predefined package that Java has already created for us in order to directly make use of it instead of writing your own logic to get an input from user, right? So we don't need to do that. We can directly go ahead and use this scanner. So once I click on this, it will be automatically imported. So let me just zoom it a bit. If you see over here, this scanner is imported over here. And now I can create the object of scanner. Let's say new scanner. And there we go. I can make use of this scanner object to take input from user, right? Now, if you click on this particular scanner, then you will see that the scanner is coming from some class, right? So if you see, we have this class scanner. And if you see over here, you will see that this is coming from package, which is java.util, right? So java.utility class that Java has created for us. Do we have that here? Did we create this scanner inside our application? No. And if you want to see this particular package, then you can go to this external libraries. You can open this folder and here inside Java version, you will have multiple packages. For example, here we have java.base. So this particular util package basically comes from your java.base, right? So if I try to resolve where exactly this file is, so if you see over here, we have this scanner class, which is present inside which package? This util package, right? So if I minimize this, it is inside this util package. And this util package is in this Java folder, which is a part of this java.base package, right? So this type of packages that Java has already defined for us are called as built-in packages, right? Simple stuff, right? Very simple stuff. Java predefined packages which are present inside your libraries over here in Java version, right? So simple stuff, right? For example, java.util that we have seen, and there are many more, right? For example, java.io, right? Now the other type of package is basically user defined packages, right? User defined packages means, let's say there are custom packages created by developers, right? So we are the developers, let's create a package, right? So here if you see inside this source folder, we have these many files, right? So these are basically files that we have seen in the last video, right? Now these files are just roaming around over here in the source folder, right? Now let's say I want to create few files related to bank, right? So I want to create some functionalities related to bank, and what I will do, I will create a package bank where I will put similar bank related classes over there, right? So what I will do, I'll create a package. So I will go here, say new package. I will name it as bank, right? I will press enter. So this particular package is created for us, right? And what I will do, I'll create a class inside it. Let's say bank account, right? So let's create account class. So we have this account class over here, and if you see here, it is present inside this particular package, right? So this particular account class is present inside bank package, right? So now bank is basically our user defined package over here, right? Now that is a simple definition of package, right? So this is basically user defined package, and these packages over here are basically built-in packages that we have inside Java, right? Now this concept of packaging comes into picture where we actually work on frameworks such as Spring Boot. So if I try to quickly show you one simple Spring Boot project, if you are following my Spring series, you may have idea of that already. If you see over here in the source folder, we have different packages. For example, we have main where we have our code. In the test, we have all our tests. If I open this, and inside Java, we will have different packages, right? So here we have config. In the controllers package, we store all controllers. In entity package, we store all entities. In repositories, we store all repositories. In services, we store all services, right? So that is basically how it looks like and comes into picture when you are actually working on production level application, right? Now let's go back over here. So we have created this particular package, and that's basically a package, right? So we bundle similar kind of classes over here, and that's it, right? Now let's go back over here. So that is basically built-in packages and user-defined packages for us. After that, so now we have seen packages, right? So let's get started with access modifiers now, right? So what are access modifiers, right? So what are access modifiers? These are a special keywords inside Java, right? Which will define who can access the data inside your class, right? For example, let me go over here and let's say I create a variable, right? I create a variable, let's say double. A double variable which will store your balance, right? Balance of this particular account. So this is a variable, right? Now who can access this data? That is the question, right? Who can access this particular data within and outside the class, within or outside the package, right? Who can access this data within same class or other class, or the class inside your package or the class outside your package? That will be defined by this particular access modifier, right? Now there are 4 types of access modifiers, right? So we have public, protected, private, and default, right? Now if I mark this particular balance as public, right? So this is public now. Now this balance can be used anywhere. For example, I create another class which is a main class, let's say over here. And what I will do, I'll just create a main method inside this class. And here what I can do, I can just create the object of account. Let's say account, and I will say new account, right? So this will create an object for us. And now what I can do, I can just say account.balance, and I will be able to access this particular balance and modify it. Let's say I can set it to 10. And if I just print it account.balance, then this should print 10, right? If I run this code, it should print 10 for us, right? So 10 double is printed over here, no problem, right? That is how our other class main is able to access this particular account, right? Now this main is separate class, but it is present inside your bank package. So if I expand it, we have 2 classes over here, account and main is inside bank only, right? But let's say, let's try to access it outside the bank package. So if I minimize this and let's open some other random class over here, for example, this main, let me open this main, and here we have this particular main method, right? So if I create an object of account over here, let's say account equals to new account. So that will create object for us. And from here, if I call balance and try to set it to, let's say 15 now, then I'm able to call it, right? So I'm able to call it outside this bank package as well, right? So that is basically the public access. So once you mark any variable as public, it will be accessible anywhere inside your application, be it inside other class, be it inside same class, be it inside class outside your package or inside your package, does not matter, right? It will be accessible everywhere, right? So that is basically public for you. Public means visible everywhere, right? After that, let's talk about protected. Now if I make this protected, let's make it protected, right? Now here in the same package I am able to access it, right? So in the same package I have this main class and I'm able to access this. Here I am able to access it, it's not giving me any error, should be fine. But here if you see, since I make it protected, there is some red mark over here, right? This guy started crying, and if I click on it, it is saying that balance has protected access in bank account, right? So in bank package, account has a protected access. That means, dude, you cannot access it over here, right? You cannot directly access this over here, right? So basically when we create a protected variable, when we make use of protected access modifier, it can be accessed within the same package. It can be accessed inside a same class as well, right? For example, let me just create a main method over here. So say in the similar class, if I copy paste this code in the same class, here also it will be accessible. So to summarize, it will be accessible inside same class, in other classes in same package, inside bank package, but it will not be accessible inside other classes outside the packages. So here it will not be accessible. If I do account.balance again, then it's not able to find, right? We'll just again say that, okay, dude, this has protected access, right? But there is a catch over here now, right? So let's go back over here, right? Now, if I create another class, let's say new Java class, and let's say saving account, right? So I'll create a saving account class, which is outside this bank package, right? Now this ideally should be inside bank package since it is related to bank, but in order to demonstrate a functionality, I am creating it outside this bank package, right? So here what I will do, I will extend this with account, extends account, right? So now this guy saving account is a child of your account class, right? And now what I will do, I'll create a main method over here. And now here, if I am creating the object of saving account, let's say saving account equals to new saving account, right? Now, since this saving account is a child of this account object will be able to access the balance, right? And I can set the value to 10, and let's say I can just print it, right? Print account dot balance, right? And if I run this code now, it should work just fine. So with the protected access, a variable can be accessed outside a package within subclasses only by using subclasses. So if you see, I'm creating the object of subclass over here and trying to access it, because this variable basically belongs to account, and account is a parent of your saving class, and saving class is inheriting everything from your account class, and hence it is able to access this. So this behavior is true when it comes to protected, right? Public and protected. Public is basically accessible everywhere, right? So public is out of question. But when it comes to protected, it will not be accessible out of your package unless we have a subclass which is extending that particular class, right? So that is basically protected, right? Now let's move ahead. Let's go back over here. So we have seen protected. Now we have default, right? So here what I will do, let's go to account again, and here instead of protected I will just remove this. Now default is not a keyword over here. If you do not give anything over here, it will be a default access modifier, right? So now we are able to access this default inside same class, inside a class which is present inside your same package, right? Now let's try a class outside of your package. So if I go over here inside this particular main, if I try to access this account dot balance, I'm not able to access, right? So again it is saying that balance is not public in bank account, right? Cannot be accessed from outside package. So that means we will not be able to access it outside package. How about our subclasses? So we have created one subclass, saving account. So here if you see, here also we are not able to access it, right? That means default cannot even be accessed by using your subclasses outside your package, right? So that is something which you cannot do, right? And if I move this class inside bank package now, let's refactor it. So now we will be able to access it, right? Now we will be able to access it, right? So that is basically the case. So if it, so everything within same package will be able to access it, but outside the package, nothing will be able to access default access modifier variable, right? That is basically default. And the last one over here is private, right? Let's make this guy private now. Now, once I declared this guy private, see what exactly is happening. Two related problems, right? So within same class, I'm able to access it, but outside the class, in other class, I'm not able to access. I'm not even able to access it inside a subclass, right? That means when we declare a variable as private, this variable cannot be accessed outside this particular class. Nowhere, right? Nowhere. It cannot even be accessed in other classes like this in the same package, right? Not even your subclass, right? It cannot be accessed. So that is basically your private access modifier. So basically you cannot do this particular thing now, right? So this also you cannot do, and saving account stuff also you cannot do, right? So forget about it. Now it is private, you cannot do anything, right? So that is basically your access modifiers. Right, so those are basically 4 access modifiers for us. Now let's quickly recap what we have seen. So here we have modifier, and here we have where exactly it will be accessible, right? So public is accessible everywhere, within same class, within same package, outside package inside subclass, and outside package anywhere in any other class. When we make it protected, it is accessible within same class, within same package, but outside package it is not accessible. But in case we have subclass, right, the subclass, which is basically this class that we have created, saving account, which is extending your account, then by using that saving account object, you can access protected variables, right? You can access those by using subclasses, right? Inside subclasses, those are accessible. And this is something which will be taken away when it comes to default. When we make use of default, it is only accessible within class and within package. Outside package is not accessible anywhere, even if it is a subclass, right? And default is not a keyword. If you do not provide any access modifier, then that will be a default access modifier for that particular variable, right? After that, we have private, which is only accessible inside your class, within same class, and outside this class, it is accessible nowhere, not accessible anywhere, right? That is basically simple access modifier stuff for us, right? So now we have seen access modifiers as well. So now as we understood packages and access modifiers inside Java, now let's see how they come together in order to achieve important pillar inside your object-oriented programming, that is encapsulation, right? So let's discuss encapsulation now. Now you might be already aware of the definition, right? That encapsulation will bring data and operations together into a single unit and form capsule, which is basically called as a class, right? So that is basically encapsulation. But you may not understand that clearly. And if you try to say same thing inside an interview, and it will sound like you are reading a book and you don't understand the concept clearly, right? So let's go back over here and let's try to understand this now, right? So let me remove this and let me just make this public again, right? So let's say this is a public guy now, our balance, and we have this another method. Now what this method is doing, now this main method inside this main class have direct access. We have direct access to this balance. What this guy can do, this guy can make use of account, and it can set the account to, let's say, some value which is, let's say, minus 5,000, right? Minus 5,000 rupees, which is not a valid account number, right? But we don't have any restriction as such on this particular balance to avoid this condition, do we? We don't have. I'm able to set it to minus 5,000 and I will be able to perform operations on that as well. For example, I can print it, or I can do, let's say, this, and it will just print fine. So this is a problem, isn't it? This is a problem that anyone is able to access and modify the data. The data that we have inside account class is not secure, right? Is able to access, anyone is able to access and modify that particular data, right? Now this can lead to invalid states inside your application, right? So that is a problem basically. Now what if I do this? Now what if I make this private? If I make this private, then this guy, this main method will not be able to access it and will not be able to set rubbish values to this account, right? So this is out of picture now, right? So this guy will not able to access it. Now we are restricting people to make use of our variables and do rubbish operations on that, right? For example, setting balance to minus 5,000, right? But now you will say, if this is private, then how I'm going to update the balance? Let's say I create a method, let's say void set balance, right? Set balance, which will take a balance, right? Double balance, and what it will do, it will just set this balance. It will just set this particular incoming balance to this particular balance, right? And now this method we make public so that anyone is able to access it. Now what people can do, people can go ahead and make use of this method to set the balance, right? So people can do set balance, and now they can set balance as, let's say, 5,000, right? 5,000 they can set. But now you will say, dude, here also you can set minus 5,000, right? What is the difference, right? Well, fair point, right? Here also we can do that. Now what if in this method we add that validation? Now here, what if I do this? What if I add this validation that if balance is greater than equal to 0, then only assign, otherwise give some error saying that, dude, this is an invalid balance, right? Now if I run this code, what will happen? We will get an error that balance is negative, dude, what are you doing, right? Now here we are securing our data and we are taking care of invalid conditions as well over here, right? Now if I pass this particular 5,000, then I will be able to run this just fine, right? But there is no output as such because we are not printing anything. Now the other question will be, now we are setting the data, how we can get it, right? How we can get the data from the user? We can add another method, let's say double, which will return us double, and let's call it as get balance. And let me just create, and what I will do, I'll just return balance from here, and I will make this guy public now instead of making our balance public, right? Now what I can do over here, I can just print account dot get balance, right? And what I will do, I will just run this, and now we are able to print this particular 5,000 over here, right? And now these two methods that we have written over here, these two methods are generally called as getters and setters, right? So this is basically a getter and this is basically a setter, which will allow us to perform operation on this private variable that we have, right? Which will allow us to get the value, set the value, right, according to whatever we want, right? But with certain security that we have implemented over here, right? Now this is what we called as a controlled access to this particular balance, right? Controlled access, we can control it, right? We can control what they are going to set it, right? How they are going to set the balance, we can control it, right? So this is basically a controlled access. Now here we are bundling this particular field, this particular data, and this particular operation that we are performing on that data into a single unit, which is a class. And this particular concept of bundling your data, your operations into a single unit, which is class, is called as encapsulation, right? And we are doing this data hiding as well. We are doing data security as well. We are securing our data by making it private, right? So this concept is called as encapsulation inside Java, right? Very, very simple stuff, right? Now just by doing this, we are doing many things over here. First, we are doing data security, right? We are securing our balance, right? Second, we have controlled access. We have controlled access. Updating the values we are controlling by providing this method and by applying respective validations on that, right? So that is basically a simple pillar but important one inside Java, which is encapsulation, right? So that's how we can define it. So that is basically encapsulation. That also we have seen, right? Very, very simple stuff over here, right? So encapsulation not only helps with your data security, but also it can work seamlessly along with other pillars. For example, inheritance. When you have multiple subclasses, then you can make use of protected over here so that all your subclasses are able to access this particular data if you want to, right? But it is advisable to make these guys private and make use of these getters and setters to set it, right? And these getter setters are mostly used inside entities, right? And these IDs also will give you provision to generate them directly. So if you click on generate over here, you will have a provision to generate getters and setters, right? But here we have already created them, so there are no field. For example, if I remove them, right? If I remove them and again try this, generate getter setter, then you will have this balance over here. Once you click OK, it will just generate it for you, right? So that is basically getters and setters for you, right? So that is basically encapsulation inside Java. I hope you have clear understanding of what are packages, what are access modifiers, how they come together and provide data security and lead to encapsulation inside Java, right? So if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Now inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation we have seen. Now in the next video, we will see abstraction, right? Which is again a very important pillar where we will be introduced to abstract classes and interfaces, which is again a very important concept inside Java. So if you don't want to miss that video, subscribe to Code Snippet now. If you like this video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to Code Snippet. Share this video with your friends so that they are also aware of encapsulation. That's it for this video. See you in the next video.